Hello, beautiful people. It's T, and I'm back to do another episode of Coloring in Mermaid and Friends coloring book. Okay, so just to recap, and guys, I'm going to tell you what I'm doing here. I wanted to test this out because I wanted to see how it would look with these colors, but I went back in on the last video we were working on the hair, and I went in there and just kind of added a few more layers of the red that I was using, which is the 3848, in these areas here, just to define it a little bit more. I then went over that the strands here with this color here, which is the 3800-67. Let me zoom in so you guys can see that a little better. Okay, so in this area right here, I just lightly went over in layers, okay, off camera. I then went with the same color, which is the, again, 3800-67, and I added some shading over the yellow that you saw, okay? Instead of using yellow to blend with this strand, this yellow and the orange strand, I used white to blend that together, okay? So now we're gonna work on the eye, the eyeshadow, and I did this because I wanted to test it out, and if it worked, it worked. If it didn't, it didn't. But I like how this came out. So we're gonna go ahead and work on her eye shadow. I'm gonna try to get a lot of this done. This is actually going to be a silent video. You will see the colors pop up on the screen, like normally when I do silent videos. And I'm going to try to get this done tonight. And we'll just have a go at it. Okay, so you guys enjoy the music. right, so I am finished coloring this beauty. I love how she turned out. Just a few things. I used, you can't really see it here unless I do it like this, kind of show it. But I used some acrylic ink, metallic acrylic ink there on the earring, the big earring, and this one here. I used the Sparkle Pop gel pen. These are the bomb, you guys, by Pentel. If you do not have a set of these, you need to get some. Oh my gosh, I should have used these on the earrings instead of the ink. I was going to put the same ink up here on the antlers, but I was having some issues with it. It was covering up my lines, so I switched to this. I don't like that I'm using two different kinds of shimmer, but hey, you know, it's okay. So I use also the Sparkle Pop, if you can tell, in this area, these little dots. And then I took out my micron pen, 0.25 millimeters, to define her eyelashes, make them a little darker, because when you're coloring over black lines, sometimes it washes the black out, you know. So I went over the eyelashes with the micron pen. I also went over the lines that I covered up with this gold with this micron pen. And so now what I'm going to do is the background, and I'm just going to do a blue background, and I'm going to use some Lyra Aqua Color crayons. And so we'll get started. It's just going to be very light. I'm just going to go around her head and just add some of that in a blue. Okay, so just one moment, I'll be right back. Okay, I'm back. So I got my water brush pen, and I have the Lyra Aqua Color Aquarelle, and this is in True Blue. Okay, so I'm just going to lightly go around her just to, you know, take it, you know, give some hints of blue around her. Now, a lot of people use these differently. Some people apply that way, but I tend to find that I have more control over the color if I just stick I have a hole in the bottom of mine because that's how I use it. I just go like this, kind of swirl it around in there, get some pigment on the brush, and then I go, we'll see how this works because I haven't used this on this paper. And so, but I feel like I have more control over the, you know, the pigment if I do it this way. Okay, so we're just gonna go and do that over the whole picture. Well, not, you know, over around her. And then sometimes I'll randomly pick another area to, you know, add some blue because it kind of makes it look like clouds. If you give, you know, different variations of the blue, you can go, you know, darker next to the object, and then kind of wash it out as you get away from the object. You can go in and put a little more where you feel like you want more, like see here. And by the way, this paper is buckling, and I'm not going to rub too much because it looks like the paper will try to disintegrate, so we will not rub too much. Again, I'll just fade out as I come away from her in a circular motion. That. So I hope you guys have enjoyed watching me color her. I am so happy with her. I think she is gorgeous, and I'm not just boasting of myself. I think that the colors I chose for this picture turned out pretty good. There are some areas I'm not too happy with, like her skin, but you know, like I stated in the first few videos, I'm not an expert whatsoever you know, at this at this hobby, or if you want to, you know, I'm an aspiring artist, so I'm still learning things. And so I feel like to get her skin the way I wanted it, I probably should have used markers because there's a lot of white that shows through with these pencils. Now, if I used Prismacolor, it probably would have done a lot better because they're creamier, and I just probably could have done better with those as far as the skin. But I'm really thrilled with everything else. So I will say that this was a success, and I was so nervous, you guys, to color in this. Now I've conquered my fear, and I can move on to more pictures by this artist. So I'm just gonna come bring, sorry I was out of frame. Come back up this way. See, it's starting to buckle. I don't really like that, but you know, some paper does that. And it's kind of like soaking up the water, so. But it's okay, because as long as she's not messed up, we're good. And as you can see, I'm just moving kind of like circular motions as I go away from her antlers here. Now, I don't know how well you can see this color on camera. I don't think you probably can see it very well unless I go dark, but I don't really want to go too dark with this blue because I really want I want her to stand out. See, the paper is starting to buckle a little bit. Now I really love using these water color crayons, if you will. I do have a full 84 set of the Neocolor 2s, but I didn't want to use them until I practiced with a less expensive brand. And now I know that they're probably much better as far as blending, but I've learned how to use these to my taste, and I think that I now can probably move on to using my Neocolor 2s and not being afraid to use them. We should never really be afraid to use our supplies, but you know, doesn't mean that you won't be. You're probably going to be afraid because you're not really afraid, but maybe more nervous because you just don't want to mess up the picture you're coloring with the new medium. So I've been practicing in romantic country using this method. I actually did most of the book using these aqua color crayons as a base and applying colored pencil to it. This page is going to be very wet, unfortunately, but I want to do this for this background. I could have used colored pencils, but I kind of want to, you know, use different medium on this. And basically all I'm doing is trying to spread that blue around and trying not to compromise the paper by getting it too wet. Okay, so now we're going to move over to this side. And I'm not going to put any more there because the paper is getting really wet. So, just here. Oops. What's cool about these two is you can easily just wipe off where you've messed up or use a napkin, paper towel, whatever. It's okay if the, color's not perfectly, I want to say blended with this. My purpose for using it is not to make it a perfect background. I just want to give it a little color. Now I may go in afterwards, after it dries, to touch up some areas with a colored pencil. That is always an option if you're not happy with a certain area or it's not dark enough for you, closer to the image or the actual object, and you want to add more color. You can either go back with the crayon, or you can just take a colored pencil that's close to that color or a little darker and add some color, add some more color. And by the way, I decided not to flash the actual colors on the screen because I held the pencils up so that if you're watching, you could see, what colors I was using. But I will list the colors in the description. This has been so fun. I'm very proud of myself. This is probably my favorite this year, maybe. One of my favorites besides my Captain Hook's hair. I think I like this picture, and it just could be the illustrations making me feel that way, because I absolutely love the illustrations in this book. So worth every penny to get this and be able to put my own interpretation of this beauty out there. So very proud of her. Not of her, but of the picture. Oh, this is what happens when you gab and you're trying to work. You might say something like crazy like that. You're proud of her. She's not even real. But y'all know what I mean. I'm proud of how she came out. Yep. Love it. Oh, got a little too wet there. We're just about done with her background. Sorry, y'all, it's out of frame a little bit. what's good about these, you can spread that color out just by adding more water and just pushing it around the page. That's what's cool about these. That's what I really like the most about using these. And they're kind of easy to manipulate. And I'm sure the Caran d'Ache ones are much easier to manipulate because they probably have a better, I know you can blend them better, and you won't see the strokes. This one you tend to kind of see the strokes, but it's okay. I don't care if you can see it in the background, but in the skin, I don't really care for it to do that. Let me add a little more over here. I see some areas I need to work in. You come here at the top. And all I do is I put the color on and I dab a little bit. If I know it's still going to be a little too dark, I'll just dab it. Okay, put a little over here. Sometimes, depending upon how you apply those too, can make it look like clouds. That's why I go in circular motion to give it the effect of possibly having clouds. I have one little section here at the top and we'll be all done. I'm going to do that before I go in circular motions. All right, ladies and gents, and there you have this fall beauty. I'm so happy, and I thank you guys for watching. Until next time, y'all, take care.